So Ben, I had this weird dream last night. I mean, really weird. And I'm on a track, like like it's like this big stadium with this track
Yeah.
on it. And I look over, and Hunter Pence is standing there, and he's not wearing a Giants uniform. He's wearing a track outfit. Like he's got his tight little shorts on and his, and
Whoa.
the tank top, and it says Giants across the chest.
Oh.
But he's clearly getting ready to run a race.
Okay.
And I look around, and there's just, I mean, the stands are just totally full. And then I look over and there's a torch. And so I'm like, is this the Olympics?
Wait. Okay, so you're at the Olympics, but Hunter Pence is representing the Giants?
This is right. Yes.
Giants Nation.
He's apparently his switch careers.
He's the best sprinter from Giants Nation. Okay.
Okay. Well, so then the starter says, on your marks, and I realize that it's the 200-meter race, and that Hunter Pence is getting into the blocks. And I'm like totally confused, but at the same time, like really interested in this race. And all of a sudden the gun goes off and everybody takes off, and they're sprinting. Hunter's doing well. He's running out, but he's not in the lead by any means. But he's looking better than you would think he would look. And then at the top of the curve, a guy in lane 1 like just trips, right? And he starts rolling through the curve, and he takes out like the guys in lane 3 and 4 are a little bit farther ahead, so they miss it. But everybody else gets taken out except Hunter Pence, who jumps over the guy as he's barrel rolling across the track.
Okay.
And so the rest of them end up in a heap,
Wow.
but Hunter doesn't. And he continues to run, and he goes around the curve and on the straightaway, and I realize that he's in 3rd place. And sure enough, he finishes, and he's awarded the bronze medal.
So Hunter wins the bronze medal at the Olympics,
Yes.
representing Giants Nation.
Exactly.
Oh, it's too bad he didn't win, because I would have liked to know what they played for the national anthem.
I woke up around there, and then I'm like, you know how when you wake up from a weird dream and you're just like, did that really happen? Wow. And you start kind of rethinking it. I mean, don't you ever had weird dreams?
Weird dream like that? Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, no, just the other day I had a dream that I was at the grocery store. And I was making my way around the store, and I ended up over in the produce section, and I see this guy wearing Groucho Marx glasses. And then he's groping the melons, as you do, and I'm also melon shopping, so I go over there, and I'm also groping the melons, sniffing them to see if they smell ripe. And then all of a sudden, the guy in the Groucho Marx glasses, he whispers to me, and he says, "Hey, Ben, I think you were right. I think you'd make a great manager." And I look up at him, and I'm like, "Buster Posey?" And he says, "Shh, meet me outside if you want the job." So I just leave my cart there, right? Just everything. I just leave it there. There's ice cream in there. And don't ask me why I got my ice cream before I got the melons. Whatever. I'm not an expert. But anyway, I go outside, and there's a Giants helicopter out there in the middle of the parking lot. And you can tell it's a Giants helicopter because it's got Buster's face on it. So we get into the helicopter, and we fly over Oracle, and we land in center field, and I get off of the helicopter, and they have those little like smoke guns with the like pathetic little like half fireworks or whatever, like the ones that they use for Rafael Devers.
Yeah.
Except nobody's there. There's no cameras, no nothing. There's just one person, just Jane from accounting, Yane from accounting, and she's clapping for me. And then Buster says, "Come on, let's go." And then we run into the dugout, and then he like takes me straight to my office.
That is so cool. That's like one of the coolest dreams I've ever heard.
Yeah, I totally made that up, dude. No, who has a dream like that? I mean, it's not like I'm that deprived of baseball. They've only been gone for a week, Matthew.
Oh, okay.
Wait, yours was fake too, right?
Sure. Hit it, Bob.
Welcome to Giant Cocktails, where the baseball is mid, but the cocktails are elite. Here are your hosts, Ben and Matthew Henry.
Welcome to episode 333 of Giant Cocktails. I really did dream about Hunter Pence winning the bronze at the Olympics. Sometimes your brain just does weird things when you can no longer see the Giants play.
That is weird because Hunter is actually a Magic the Gathering and D&D player, not a sprinter.
Yeah, figures, actually, yes. Ben, did you know that Bill Miller scored 333 runs during his Giants career that spanned from 1996 to 2002?
I did not know that, Matthew, but I did know that Bill Miller was my favorite Giant, just like Andrew Kisner.
That's right. And if you didn't know any better, you would want to say Bill Mueller, but you'd be wrong.
You'd be very wrong, as we and the Boston Red Sox fans all know. Because, he
had a pretty good Red Sox career.
Maybe he had a batting title, and he had one of the most important hits in history that began the comeback. Everybody talks about Dave Roberts' stolen base, but Bill Miller got the base hit right after that.
That's right.
Enough with the banter. Let's talk cocktails.
All right, Bob, let's do it.
Let's do it!
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Bob, I'm drinking a cocktail that I'm calling Apple of My Eye. And it started out because my girlfriend said she had remembered this cocktail from the 80s that she liked when she was younger, and it was called Washington Apple. And it was I don't know, it had apple liqueur and, or schnapps, apple schnapps and stuff in it. So I decided to try and remake it in a more sophisticated way. I'll tell you all about it at the end of the episode.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Well, thank you for asking, Bob. I'm drinking a cocktail that I'm calling It's Just Lemonade. Surprise! And you can find out what the surprise is at the end of the episode. And my girlfriend had nothing to do with this.
Ben, it is Sunday, October 5th, as we record this podcast. The Giants went 0-0 this week because they didn't make the playoffs.
I did not remember that.
Speaking of playoffs, Ben, you asked me last week if I was going to watch any of them, and I said no.
That's right.
That when the Giants aren't in the playoffs, I don't have any interest.
Yeah, you're not a baseball fan, you're a Giants fan. That's what you said.
It's probably true. I just don't really like sitting watching other teams and players I don't really care about. And but I did this time. I said, you know what? I'm going to watch the Phillies-Dodgers game.
Whoa! I didn't tell you to watch the Dodgers. I mean, look.
What other game was I going to watch? And so I watched it, and the second inning was great. Ohtani was guys were hitting triples and runs were scoring, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
I mean, as awesome as it can be when it's the Phillies.
Yeah. Well, and then their pitcher, who I had never seen before, but he was this tall, lanky kid named Christopher Sanchez, I think, and he was just mowing them down. He was just mowing them, and I was like, "Wow, this guy's great."
He's cruising,
and pitches into the sixth inning, gets 2 quick outs in the sixth, then he gives up a walk, and then a single. He's at 90 plus pitches at this point, Ben. And he's the Phillies have a right-hander in the bullpen, ready to face Kike Hernandez. And I all I can assume is that the manager forgot that he's managing in the playoffs, because he's like, oh, I gotta save my bullpen. Let me send Sanchez get one more out for me here, and he doesn't. And Kike doubles, 2-run score. You know that the game's over. They were technically still ahead at that point, but I knew the game was over.
Yeah, I mean, the game was over.
I've seen too many of those games from the Giants' perspective to know.
Yeah, that was a killer. That was a killer. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Matthew. That particular game sucked. But I would have not, I would have eased myself in, right? I don't think I would have just dove into Dodgers, Phillies, right off the bat if I'm a Giants fan, having been away from baseball and not having watched the playoffs in a while, right? I might have chosen something like...
I'm done. I'm not watching another one.
I mean, the Tigers and the Mariners, how safe is that?
No, because I was like following it on my laptop, not watching the game, just following the score. And the Mariners were clinging. They were clinging to a lead, and then they didn't. And and I care about the Mariners, and I don't want to watch that lose. I got to watch the Giants lose all this time, so I'm not watching any more games.
You'll be happy to know they won tonight. They did give up the lead, but then the big dumper got on, and then Rodriguez doubled him home, and all was fine and dandy. And then this other guy hit 2 big bombs off of Tariq Screwball, the guy who taught Robbie Ray the curse that ruined our season, by the way.
Yes.
As he was sucking out the mojo of all of the people, one of whom we're going to talk about later in the show. I know who the primary victim of Robbie Ray was now, Matthew. I figured it out.
Tariq Screwball?
No, he was the teacher, but I know who Robbie Ray got the worst. And poor young Hayden. Oh, God, he deserved better. And Verlander, God. But it wasn't those two. There was somebody who was a bigger victim.
Okay, which I'm sure we'll talk about
We're
later.
gonna.
All right. Well, playoffs are in full bloom.
Yes.
The Dodgers went into the second round. Was not really a contest.
Right. Oh, one big important thing did happen, though. Camilo was on fire. Camilo pitched 2 scoreless innings in Game 1 of the division series. Matthew, if I had told you back in the spring, before opening day, that Camilo Doval was going to pitch 2 scoreless innings in Game 1 of the division series, how psyched would you have been?
I would have been psyched. I would have thought, we were at extra innings.
Yeah, right? Yeah, the Giants are in extra innings. No, it didn't end up that way at all. No,
but it makes you feel better. Camilo's, I think, is the only Yankees pitcher that hasn't given up a run for the first 2 games.
Considering I want Camilo to get a revenge ring, no, it doesn't make me feel better. The Yankees relievers have been awful in this series.
I think the Yankees pitchers.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true. They basically had, Gill had a bad start, and then Fried had an even worse start. Oh, but I do think we could add Aaron Boone to the managerial list because he managed Game 2 like he just gave up halfway through, and I think he's going to get fired.
Aaron Boone.
All right, you put him on the list. All right, good.
Put him on the list.
Good.
All right. All right, well, maybe we should talk some tidbits now that we've kind of gotten the playoffs thing out of the way here a little bit. Bryce Eldridge had wrist surgery this week, Ben.
I'm not going to lie, Matthew. I panicked a little bit when I saw the headline. I panicked. But then I remembered it was his wrist that was kind of bothering him.
Yeah, to shave a spur off a bone, Ben.
Yeah, and they said it was just an 8-week recovery. So, it's roughly equivalent to what happened to Nikki on Jenna Phipps. Except his was a broken metatarsal bone, a Jones fracture.
Whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The other news, Ben, is that the managerial search for the Giants is on. Rumors have been flying on who the candidates are, but we know who they're not.
We do know who they are not. Because we had a recording of the phone call last week, and we knew that was never going to happen.
It wasn't a recording. That was actual. I mean, that was it. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, the recording that was perfectly sounded just like Bochy.
I mean, it sounded just like Bochy. I don't know what you're talking about. The
Had to have
Buster,
been a
whoever was
recording.
doing, well, yeah, I suppose I was probably Buster because it was a real Bochy recording. But the Buster voice didn't sound real, but that sounded like Bruce Bochy.
It was, and Bruce, doesn't. Maybe he could be an honorary, special assistant to the hobo.
Whatever Justy Baker's title is, which I believe. What is that?
Slap one of those on there.
Yeah, that gets some tickets to every game and a chicken sandwich, right?
That's right.
Or the chicken tenders, whatever. Yeah.
And Skip Schumacher was also a name that was thrown out there, but of course he was like the lady in waiting for Bruce Bochy. And so he's now the new manager.
I don't think that's what the lady in waiting is. I don't think she takes over. You're thinking of the maid of honor.
That's what I'm thinking of. The maid of honor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, Skip Schumacher got the job, whatever you want to call it. And so now there's one less candidate. The Giants reportedly interviewed Kurt Suzuki. I don't really know Kurt Suzuki all that well, but I do remember him wearing a red hat at the White House.
Which is a thing you can do. I do know that he was a catcher for many, many years for the A's. He lived in Dublin.
Oh.
Just like Sebastian Janikowski did.
Sebastian Janikowski lived in Dublin?
Yeah. What, you say that like people don't live in Dublin, Matthew. People live in that fine city. I hear. And yeah, so I don't know what the problem is there. But yeah. Also, he was a catcher for the Nationals. That's the only ones I remember.
Other people on the list, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Hallberg, who we've been around our clubhouse for quite a bit of time, and also former roommate of Buster Posey in Florida State.
Wow. Okay.
So he has been battered around. Craig Albernaz, who was with the Giants as a coach, I think during the Gabe Kapler days. Right? I don't know.
Yeah, he was in the he was with the Giants. I believe he was a bullpen coach at one point. Yes.
And apparently he's been getting rave reviews as a coach, and so he's on the list. Nick Hundley.
Yeah, big name. Name that lots of people talk about.
Has been bannered around a lot. I know Alex was talking about him, and it seemed like everybody likes Nick Hundley, and but no experience.
Yeah.
As do any of these guys that we've mentioned so far, by the way.
Right.
No experience.
Right.
Which I'm fine. I'm kind of glad that these are the kind of names that are getting thrown out there. And then Kirk Casale, also being mentioned, but probably a very dark horse at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that Alex was. I heard Alex say that name, and I thought it was just a name he was throwing out there. Like I sometimes think he just throws names out there to see if the other writers will write them down, because he'd just to see. Because he doesn't care that we do it, because whatever. He's like, whatever. Those guys have their mom listens to that show. Didn't stop you from coming on our show to shill your book, though, did it?
A couple of others who do have managerial experience, not expense, is Aaron Boone.
Oh, whoa, Aaron Boone's on the list.
Yes, Aaron Boone.
Wow.
Who still has a job at this point, but speculation being that he won't.
I don't know.
And the other being David Bell.
David Bell. Oh, scored the winning run in the NLCS to send the Giants to the 2002 World Series. No, it wasn't him. He got the hit. Oh man, I can't remember. I was there and I can't remember. Well, he either got the hit or he scored the run. I'll look it up later.
I want to say he scored the run. I think you.
Yeah, because I think I remember him sliding across home plate head first. Yeah, with the hands out. Yeah. Let's go with that. He scored the winning run. Yes, I remember that, because the strange lady not the strange lady. She wasn't strange. She was strange to me. Like, we didn't know each other, is what I'm trying to say.
You were strange to her.
Correct. That's true. There were two outs and nobody on, and then David Bell came up and she was like, "It's David Bell. He makes things happen. This is going to happen." And she was right. He got on base, and then next thing you know, and then I think, was it Kenny Lofton? Why does that name sound familiar to me? That was a long time ago. Anyway, maybe we should move on to the show, Matthew.
We should. I'd like to track that lady down, though. See what she knows now.
Because she knew everything then? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she was from the future.
Maybe she was from 2025.
And she went back to, maybe she was going back through all the World Series.
Yeah. That's what you would do that if you had a time machine. I
certainly would. I would go to all the San Francisco ones. That's for sure. Oh, and then I would definitely see the shot heard around the world. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Ben, it's probably time to start talking about biggest surprises and disappointments of the 2025 season.
Yeah.
And I started writing a list. There were a lot of both.
There were a lot of both. I can't disagree with you. Some of them were quite surprising, and some of them were quite disappointing. And yes, it's true, folks, that one could be both. You could have a surprising disappointment. But that's not what we're doing. Only happy surprises here.
That's right. That's right. So, Ben, give me one of your surprises.
Give you one of my surprises. Wow. Well, I feel like I should speak about this guy because I think, were more against him than I was at parts of the season. So, like, if either one of us is going to be the Verlander apologist, it should be me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is ironic since you have always been I've always been the apologist.
That's correct. You're correct. So anyway, Justin Verlander was a huge surprise to me. Not because he got more wins than I thought he was going to. He, in fact, got less. I predicted that Justin Verlander was going to get 6 wins at the beginning of the season, but I predicted that because I thought he was only going to start like 10 or 12 games. Like, I thought he was going to come out. I thought he was going to get hurt and then go on the IL and then be gone for a long time and then just have like 2 more stints. That's what I thought. Instead, the man starts, 27 games? And as mediocre as he was at the beginning of the season, and he was not good in many starts, he just got better and better as the season went on. And I think by the end of the season, like, he was the second best guy in the rotation. As Robbie Ray faltered and got tired at the end, especially in those last couple starts, I think Justin Verlander was the second best starter on the team. And I think he kind of made the Giants look semi-viable for a mini playoff run if they had made it. So Justin Verlander is my big number one surprise of a player performance, let's say.
Well, I agree with you. I think that I think that he called up Tariq Skubal sometime after the All-Star break and got a little mojo action and then sucked the mojo out of Robbie Ray.
Oh, that's brilliant. Because Ray is just sucking it out of like poor Hayden Birdsong and the other player who shall not be named because I'm going to name him later in the other section. That's brilliant. That's something a wily veteran would do.
It is. It's someone who's won a lot of games.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah, Screwball looked good today, but he gave up 2 home runs to one dude. For the 4th time in his career, only a guy hit 2 home runs in the same game against Screwball.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know because I don't watch any other team. Anyway, one other surprise for me was Dominic Smith.
Yes.
I seem to, you remember saying, oh, you could get that guy anywhere.
There are 30 of him out there, Matthew. That is exactly what I said.
That's exactly
There
what
are 30 dudes like that. Because every team has a dude like that. Every team has a dude who's not good enough to make he's an old guy clinging to, the dream. It's going to just take the AAA contract in the hopes that he gets called up. Every team has that guy. They have 3 of those guys, 4 of those guys. That's what I meant, dude.
Yeah, I agree. And, I don't agree with that, but I do think that Dom Smith made a name for himself and probably a nice contract, maybe even a multi-year contract, because I think that there's a lot of teams out there going to be looking for a defensive-minded first baseman that can hit. Like, that's like a unicorn. I'd want him, but we already got like 2 or 3 or 4 of those.
Yeah, he does not fit on the Giants roster, but he's going to fit somewhere. Somebody's going to sign him to a contract. For sure. If he doesn't get at least a 1-year deal, major league deal with somebody, I'll be shocked. Hey, maybe the Mets, because, they're not going to have a certain guy. Pete Alonso.
Yeah. Well, all right. Your turn.
Oh, my turn. All right. Well, I'm going to pick the one that was the biggest surprise to me, and I think to the entire planet. It was the biggest sports story for at least a week, and possibly the biggest sports story in 2 different baseball cities until the playoffs, when one of those teams made it and the other one didn't. And that is the Rafael Devers trade, man.
You were surprised by that? You just, that surprised you?
I mean, trades like that don't happen, Matthew, for any team ever. They certainly don't happen for our team. And even if they do, they don't happen in June.
The middle of June at that. Yeah.
Exactly. This trade was mind-boggling. And I think at the time that it happened, I was so excited. And I was like, okay, this is what we were looking for in a hobo, right? This is what Buster Posey could bring that Farhan Zaidi never would, because it was shocking. It was surprising. It was, hence why it's on this list. It was a bold move. And Zaidi doesn't take bold moves. He doesn't do shocking. He doesn't do surprising. He would have done the financial math on this trade, and he would have been like, we're getting swindled. Which is true, but I think at the end of the day, when you count up all the wins, the Giants are going to come out ahead. So, the Rafael Devers trade, without a doubt. Now, it didn't have the results that we were hoping for, but it got the Giants the one monster piece in their lineup that they've been looking for years. And now, thankfully, we don't have to constantly talk about how we still don't have that guy. We have that guy.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Who we don't have, and I'm going to list this under surprises because I was surprised, even though it could probably be a disappointment as well. We don't have is Tyler Rogers and Camilo Duvall. And I guess also Jordan Hicks and Kyle Harrison. But, really the trade that sent away, the trades that sent away Duvall and Tyler Rogers, it was surprising in that just a week or two before they were probably going to be buyers, and then boom, selling.
Yeah, I mean that was equally shocking. I mean, it was maybe not for a cynic like me, but I think for a normal person, yeah, it was like to go from the highs of the Devers trade to the lows of seeing Tyler Rogers. Easily one of the best 5 relievers in baseball over the past 5 years, right? Just, and so consistent. But more importantly, Camilo! They're going to make you the closer now, and I'm never going to see you again.
We will see him on opening day.
Shut up, dude. That's not what It makes it worse. I don't wanna.
Anyway, another surprise, Ben, to me. Randy Rodriguez making the All-Star team.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of knew. Oh yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, he's a good little piece in the bull. Yeah, he's a good mid bullpen guy. Yeah, rookie last year. Yeah, he's good. He's the best reliever on the planet? Wait, what?
Right, what?
I mean, so good that they had to put him on the All-Star team. Just because that's how good he was. Yeah, no, I mean, it was amazing. It was really nice to see him sort of be available in any of those emergency situations throughout a game. He was like the mid-game closer. What do they call that? That old-timey... the fireman. He was the fireman. Yeah, he was like a classic 70s fireman. He didn't pitch 3 innings, but other than that.
I mean, he was amazing. I mean, he had a up until July 1st, he had a 0.74 ERA. 1.6 WAR in only 36 innings. I mean, he was having an amazing season.
Yeah, he thinks he's going to show up in the later segment of the show.
You could be both. You're right. You could be both. What about another surprise for you, Ben?
Well, my surprise is that Matthew, a certain gentleman who some people think is good looking and put their pictures up on their walls of their bathrooms, by the name of Logan Webb, led the league in strikeouts.
Logan Webb is a handsome man.
Yeah, Bob, I'm talking about you, dude. It's weird, man. It's weird. Okay? It's weird. I mean, mainly because he's not really. Like, no offense, Logan. No offense. You got moxie. But so that's a lot. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Also, it's the mustache, man. Like, come on, really? Like, that little sneak attack of the blonde mustache. I'm not, never mind. But no, that's not it's the strikeouts. The strikeouts. Where did the strikeouts come from, Matthew?
I have no idea. I think just sitting in the dugout with Verlander and Robbie Ray, and they were like, dude, you should strike out more guys. And he's like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, but everybody was saying, like, I should get ground balls. Keep the ball on the ground or make it to the majors. And they're like, yeah, dude, you're here. Oh, right. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
I wish life were that easy for me, Matthew.
Me too.
You're going to be one of the 5 best at this thing and then just, decide to be better. And then you are.
All right, before we wrap up the surprises, I'm going to want to do one last surprise before we move on to disappointments.
Okay.
You and I got invited to have drinks at the Gotham Club by our new friend Will. Total surprise, even though he'd been asking me since the 2024
Yeah, well, that's not the
us.
biggest surprise. The biggest surprise is that when we got there, they let us in.
That's true.
That was the biggest surprise for me because I was like, I mean, I'm sure Will's a nice guy and that they like him a lot there, but like, they can't like him that much, can they? They like Will a lot because they totally let us in. They didn't even bat an eye at us.
No, they actually smiled when we came in.
Yeah, they smiled. They were super nice to us. They didn't have like a security guard stand extra close to us. They let us.
Even when we went out on the field, you thought that there was going to be some guy standing right next to you. There
wasn't. No. Yeah. No, that was definitely a highlight of the season. Going to the game with Will in the Gotham Club. What I remember a lot about that game is that I don't remember much of the game.
Watched a lot of that game on TV, to be honest.
Yeah, we watched the game on TV from the bar that was in the stadium. Literally with our backs to the field.
Anyway, disappointments. There's a lot of those. I'm going to start it off because you have a theory on why the Giants didn't make the playoffs. I have a theory. And it was those god-awful City Connect uniforms.
Yeah.
The creamsicles, man, on Tuesday nights didn't lose, man. And we wouldn't have lost 14 out of 16 at home or whatever if we had been wearing the creamsicles. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. No, I think after all was said and done, this year's City Connects were a complete dud. And I believe I mentioned this way back when they were rolled out, but I think that they were the color that they were because of marketing. Like, I think they made them purple because they were like, people want to buy purple. I don't think there was any other reason than that. And as a result, they were a disaster. We had a horrible record in those uniforms. Yeah. Don't like the City Connects, although I still do like the jacket. The jacket's kind of nice looking.
What else was a disaster, Ben?
All right. This is going to take the rest of the show. This is my rant.
Yeah, buckle up, folks.
This is my rant. This is the guy that Robbie Ray sucked all of the mojo out. And I think he must have turned his attention onto him on a particular date that will stick out in this season, I think, for years and years to come. On June 13th, the Giants stepped out, I think, with their highest watermark of the season. 12 games over 500, tied for first in the NL West with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
I sense a drunken rant coming on.
Bob, hold on to your butt, because here it comes. Starting on that day of June the 12th, one Jung-Hoo Lee had 70 hits. On June 13th, he started with 70 hits. Do you know how many hits he had by the end of June on June 30th? Matthew or Bob or anybody?
Nope.
74. Let me tell you about the time that Jung-Hoo Lee, the next superstar, the steal of the century for the San Francisco Giants, had 4 hits. It was June the 12th through July the 1st.
How do you say wow in Korean?
Exactly right, Bob. He utterly disappeared. He went from, on top of the world to absent. And that is the time that everybody points to and says that this is when the end started. And that is right at the same time that they traded for Rafael Devers. When Devers showed up, Jung-Hoo Lee took a hike. And he didn't come back for a long time. I mean, it's mind-boggling when you look at it. When you look at this chart that I have in front of us, and folks, yes, I put together a little chart. It's a doozy. It's a flat line for the last half.
It goes kind of up, but then has a lot of little flat lines, which apparently are bad.
Yeah, the flat line is when he got 0 hits for an extended period of time. But here's the other thing. There's another time in the season where he had a line that was even longer. Do you want to guess when that was?
I'm guessing when they were trying to make the playoffs in September and didn't.
It was September 9th or 10th when the winning stopped again. Jung-Hoo Lee had 0 hits for 7 days. He had 1 hit on the 9th of September and then played 7 games after that where he went 0 for every game. I don't know what to say, but when the Giants went into the toilet was when Jung-Hoo Lee went into the toilet. That was by far and away the biggest disappointment for me, was how Jung-Hoo Lee performed for the months of June and July, and then again that mini slump at the end of September. That combined with his extremely underwhelming defense, at least in terms of the metrics. And if you're going to go after Elliot Ramos, then you can't give Jung-Hoo Lee a pass. Right? One of these guys can't be oh, you can give him an excuse, and the other you can't. Because at least Elliot hit. So by far and away for me was Jung-Hoo Lee and his extensively long droughts, and I think how much they relied on him during those droughts, hitting him 1st and then 5th in the lineup in late June and July. And then by the time he was in September, he was hitting more down towards the bottom of the order. But still, running him out there every single day for 2 to 3 weeks, and then only giving him a day off after you realize, no, he's not going to just turn this around without a day off or something. So anyway, there you go. That's my guy. That's my biggest disappointment of 2025.
Okay. All right. Well, I yeah, it was disappointing. I'm going to move on with the disappointments, though. My disappointment, I think you and I should do together.
Okay.
Because they were in tandem the whole year. You and me calling out their names. First, Ben, do you want to pay homage to your guy?
Hayden Birdsong, the once and future birdsong of the rotation. Caw-caw, caw-caw.
And might I add, Roop, who hopefully will come back strong next year and anchor that 3rd spot in the rotation. Because he pitched really, really well. He took the job opening day and really was the guy that the Giants needed, and arguably the guy they missed the most when he went down. Roop injury was a major disappointment for me. But, Birdsong not being able to find the strike zone, equally disappointing.
Yeah, I agree. Both of those were real Yeah, I mean, they were disappointments. They really just let the wind out of the sails of what had the potential to be a magical season, especially magical when it's led by two young guys like that. So hopefully they'll both bounce back, put 2025 behind them, and, the sky's the limit.
Sure, because this year, their problems really lent to another disappointment, which was the rotation just falling apart by the end of the season. I mean, just when you have Kai Wei Tang being your savior, it was bad. And and I know the Giants weren't supposed to be in it after the trade deadline, so maybe that was part of the calculus that it didn't really matter. But then they started winning again, and damn it, you would have been nice to have had a couple of decent starters on the back end of that rotation.
Yeah, I agree. I mean that vaunted depth just certainly was completely depleted. And some of that had to do with injuries down at the AAA level that we didn't see, but they did happen, right? Because guys whose names were bandied about never happened. But then a lot of the young guys, Birdsong regressing, Roop and Wisenhunt both getting hurt. Harrison and Hicks being traded, all impacting that rotational depth. And so, yeah, it was a major disappointment for sure.
And then the bullpen, first part of the year was the best bullpen in baseball. And then, when you trade away two major pieces of your bullpen and then rely on a guy that, has been having a great year, but doesn't have the stamina to really pitch back to back. And Randy Rodriguez getting injured to boot really was a disappointment. You're running guys out there that normally wouldn't have been out there. And it just, I think it really probably cost the Giants their season.
No, I think for sure it did. The trade of Rodriguez and Doval, I think defined the season. Put the nail in the coffin, as it were. And I think that's a thing that I think all major league teams are probably going to learn, which is that, you always have a chance. And so selling might not be a good idea anymore, which is interesting because it'll change the way that teams are built.
Ben, one last disappointment, because I was a big fan. I did not see the rapid decline of Lamont Wade Jr. Happening the way it did.
Yeah, that was a real bummer. I don't think anybody saw that coming. It really was out of left field and shocking. And I think, it ultimately led to the Rafael Devers trade. It's an interesting thing and, an interesting outcome. But if Lamont Wade Jr. has an anywhere near normal season, they don't need Devers. And, but you know what? They might also make the playoffs, So, but for a guy who was so special and had such a good mystique about him, it was a hard one to take.
Why did we do this? I'm bummed now. We should have started with the disappointments. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the one who wrote this down in this order. That's because I'm an optimist at heart, so I was writing the good stuff down first, but I didn't really think about how I'd feel after talking about the negative stuff.
Understood.
I'm really disappointed now.
Well, let's see. Oh, well, here's an optimistic thing. I'm pretty sure I'm not in the running for the Giants managerial job, so that's a good thing.
That is a really good thing. Okay, thanks. I feel a little bit better now.
Okay, yeah, good. All right.
Isn't it time for the booze, boys?
Yeah, maybe that's what we should do, Bob. You're right. That's a good idea.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Bob, I'm drinking the apple of my eye. What's in it? Well, it's got 1.5 ounces of Apple Brandy, 1 ounces of bourbon or rye. I will say that I like rye a little bit better because I tried it both ways. Tonight I'm drinking rye and I think I like it more. 3/4 ounces of apple spice Demerara syrup, which is basically just a really spiced apple cider with equal parts sugar to make a syrup, Demerara sugar to make a syrup. 1/4 ounce of lemon juice and 3/4 ounces of unsweetened cranberry juice. Put those all into a shaker with ice, shake until well chilled, double strain it into a coupe glass, and garnish it with a dash of cinnamon. And you have a really, really good apple-themed cocktail. So that's what I'm drinking, Bob. The apple of my eye.
That's a tasty cocktail.
Really, really is.
What are you drinking, Ben?
You are the apple of my eye. Forever you'll stay in my heart. Wait, what, Bob?
What are you drinking, Ben?
Oh, right. Booze. Oh, right. No, yeah. You're right. Yeah. Oh, right. What am I drinking? It's lemonade.
Something about lemons and aid.
No, it's just lemonade, Bob. Surprise. No, that's what it's called. It's just lemonade. Surprise. To make it, you get 2 ounces of lemon juice and like 2.5 tablespoons of sugar. You combine those together into a mixing glass and you stir them until you've created a lemon juice syrup. Take a small spoon and taste it. And then record the face that you make as you taste it and send it to me because it's going to be pretty funny. Anyway, you then pour that into a glass with ice. You top it with 2 ounces of gin, 1 dash of lemon bitters, and then you add enough sparkling club soda to fill your glass. And that is how you make the It's Just Lemonade surprise. The gin's the surprise. And that's what I'm drinking today, Bob.
That's a tasty cocktail.
It was pretty good. I also put a bunch of cherries in mine. And I would also go easy on the lemon bitters. You might want to exclude them at all, but I'll leave that up to you. Try it both ways. But it was very good. I just chugged it. Hence my current state. And that's a wrap. Thank you for joining us. We will be back again next Monday with more things to say about the Giants. What are we going to talk about? We don't know yet. We'll probably talk about the managerial search. It probably won't be over. But we'll be there to talk about it. But if you can't wait that long to get your fix, you can find us out on the social medias where we go by the username Giant Cocktails. You can also find us on YouTube where you can like, subscribe, and comment. You can also comment on Spotify, which is turning out to be the best place to talk to Ben. If you want to talk to Ben, talk to us on Spotify, just like Ellie did, because Ellie said she wants a video of us because she likes torture or something. She said Bob put her up to it, which totally makes sense. But she's also sad about Bob's passing. But you're not dead, Bob.
Not a chance, boys.
Yeah, because you can't die. Because you're immortal. It's a really kind of scary situation we got going over here. But anyway, also be sure to leave us a positive review on your podcasting platform of choice, a.k.a. Apple Podcasts or Bobify, apparently. Matthew, it was great talking San Francisco Giants with you. Until next time, cheers, my friend.
Cheers, Ben. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye! I'm sure Jung-Hulu will be better next year.
Thank you for listening to the Giant Cocktails Podcast. Until next time, bottoms up.
Editor's note: Kenny Lofton had the game-winning hit in the 2002 National League Championship Series where David Bell scored the winning run. I'm sure Ben knew that. I think he'll be better next year. He was a rookie this year.
He better be, dude, because or he just better hit ninth. And play right field. Right field's complicated.
Yeah, and you need some speed to run down things. And
yeah. I mean, you kind of need like a second center fielder. You hit ninth and play a right field. Take all the pressure off, and then and then ease him into the leadoff spot. It's just one spot different. See, super easy.
Maybe he could switch careers and be a 200-meter specialist in the Olympics.
Maybe. I don't think so. I think there's faster Koreans out there, dude. Although.
There's faster Americans. That didn't stop Hunter Pence.
Well, Hunter Pence didn't have to beat all Americans. He just had to beat all the best San Francisco Giants. Because apparently they compete as their own nation in the Olympics. In Matthew Dreamland.
Fair. Okay.
Tell 'em Bob sent you.